Hey again. When I was doing my series on toxic siblings, I had a lot of people in the comments who were asking questions about famous siblings, pop culture siblings. But there was one family that came up time and time again for a lot of you. That's right. Today we are talking about the Carter family, a notorious and infamous Hollywood family with more tragedy than I have ever seen in my life. Now, if you are my age, you probably grew up knowing the eldest Carter sibling, Nick, who was one of the lame ones in the Backstreet Boys. And you are also probably familiar with Aaron Carter, whose song "I Want Candy" was super, super popular, and he was, the thing, the guy at the moment with a lot of hardship in his life. But what a lot of people don't realize is that there are actually 5 Carter siblings, and of these 5 Carter siblings, only 2 remain living. You see, sister Leslie died in 2012 of a drug overdose. Aaron sadly was the next to go in November of 2022. And at the end of last year, 2023, Bobby Jean, another one of the sisters, also died of a toxic drug overdose. But before you get into the tragedy of all that, you have to take a look at the insane dynamics of this family, both between the parents and the siblings. And it all starts right here with their parents, Robert and Jane. You see, Robert and Jane Carter are the parents of all 5 Carter siblings, and their relationship before their divorce in 2004 was complete and total chaos. Both parents had been accused by the siblings multiple times before their divorce of stealing money from them. We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. Both Robert, who was accused by Nick in his later autobiography, and Jane, who was accused by Aaron of taking like $100,000 out of his bank account a few years before he declared bankruptcy. Now, in 2004, the couple divorced, but it was not without complete and total chaos. Mind you, this is when Aaron's star was probably at its highest. Old Jane here got herself arrested during divorce proceedings by breaking into her soon-to-be ex-husband's house, taking a remote, pulling his girlfriend out of bed, and beating her in the head with it in an attempt to unalive her. Jane was arrested for this in 2004. When you start taking an honest look at that kind of chaos that was going on in the house, which was also documented partially in the 2006 show House of Carters, you start to understand what was going on with these siblings and why there has been so much tragedy and turbulence in the relationships between them and around them. For example, Nick here has dealt with substance abuse for huge portions of his life. According to him and what he reported in his memoir, it almost took his life. He ended up with cardiomyopathy, ended up in the hospital, and almost died because of his drug and alcohol habits. We see those same habits in Aaron. We see them in Leslie. And although we didn't really get to see them on camera, they were apparently a big part of Bobby Jean's life as well. Now consider the fact that Nick has multiple times been accused of rape and has had some pretty turbulent romantic relationships. But the most turbulent relationship that we got to see was clearly the one between Nick and Aaron. In the years leading up to Aaron's death, there was a lot of chaos. There was a lot of turbulence. He was arrested multiple times for possession charges for DUI. He went to rehab at least twice that we know of. And while all these struggles were going on with him, it appeared that he was getting little support from his family. Instead, people like his mom and his brother Nick chose to make public offerings of support, which Aaron went on in interviews to call out, to say, "This is fake. You guys don't have any connection with me in real life. Why are you performing to everyone and acting like you care what happens to me?" And have to say, while I don't know for sure if they lived in a narcissistic family, I don't know them personally. I never knew their parents personally, which their father passed away in like 2016, 2017. Their mother is still alive and still getting arrested for beating people with remotes. But when you see these kinds of dynamics with the siblings, it really makes you think, to have so many siblings in one family, 3 out of 5, to have their lives ended by drug abuse, by drug overdoses, there's a lot of red flags in that for me. Because to me, I see adults who have children trapped inside of them with horrible memories, horrible emotions that they don't have the tools to deal with. I see people who are trying to numb themselves and outrun histories that are too big and too painful for them to overcome. I see people who are isolated and didn't feel like they even had the love, support, trust, and emotional connection with the people who were supposed to love them most. I don't know, when I see this family, I see a lot of children in pain and parents who saw them more as possessions and tools than as people and as human beings worthy and deserving of love and protection. What do you think? Let me know in the comments or follow for more.